the Party Congress is seen so much as the recipe book with those ingredients by which the 5 years ahead will be made out of. So if that's the case, what do you think China in 5 years is going to look like, and what should we all anticipate?
Well, the short-run effects of the Party Congress are very clear, which is that Xi Jinping's power has been not only confirmed, but increased. If you look at the Standing Committee, it's really just people who are beholden to him. And in a sense, the Congress just reaffirmed and strengthened Xi Jinping's dominance. In terms of what that will mean for the future of China, I think it's still problematic, but Jinping itself had basically solved one of the most important problems for authoritarian regimes, which is succession. And what he had done is by setting a 10-year term. I think it's the short run. It's good news for Xi. In the long run, I think it's bad news for China.
From where you are, Professor Nai, was there any surprise that came out of this Congress, or was it as you predicted in your mind it would be? And based on the expertise of working with this country for so many years?
I was not surprised. I think what we saw was pretty close to most of the predictions by accurate journalists and experts. So in that sense, it wasn't surprising. I think the long-term effects of the Party Congress remain to be seen. If you look at the underlying trends in the Chinese economy, China faces a demographic decline. The labor force peaked in 2015. And the general way in which one responds to that, the economists tell us, is by increasing productivity. And you increase productivity of the remaining labor or by essentially new technologies or the use of technology. But China's productivity has been declining as well. And then you say, well, where would new technology come from? Well, the government is placing a lot of emphasis on state-owned enterprises, but often new technology comes from the private sector and from entrepreneurs. And of course, the government is, or the party is now clamping down on the private sector.
Professor Nai, I would love to finish off with one of the themes of this discussion, which is post-Congress, what happens next. I mean, how do you think the outcomes of this once in 5 year gathering is going to shape China's relationship with the world, but particularly with the United States?
Well, I think China has been moving partly because of Xi's policies and partly because of COVID in the direction of isolating. I think this is not healthy for China or for the rest of the world. I think the Party Congress showed signs that this approach is continuing. And the question for all of us as we watch the situation after the Party Congress is to see whether you have return of these increased contacts between China and the rest of the world. As I said, I think that would be healthier for China and be healthier for the world, including the United States.